All right, we want to welcome everyone back to the Soul Sistas podcast. I'm Sky.
I'm Christy.
And I'm Barb.
And I'm Ivana.
And I'm Jonalise.
So we want to thank each and every one of our listeners who tuned in to episode 1. The ones who stuck it out through the technical difficulties, not the best angles on our Instagram live, and us speaking over one another. You know, that's just how we do.
And you guys didn't even hear me to begin with.
Right,
okay?
right.
I'm here this
She
time.
is here. We appreciate you and all the genuine feedback. We have taken note, and we'll be sure to improve so we're able to give and receive in the most fluid way possible. Thank you again. Today we're digging deep. So deep, we taking it back.
That's right.
All the
girl.
way back to World War I. Women were recruited into jobs vacated by men. At first, these establishments were reluctant to hire women, but they were left with no choice. When men returned from war, women said, and I quote, "Nah, I'm not going back home." Okay? They found a new sense of somewhat independence. So what do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Do you feel like women have just taken this role of less feminine ways and more masculine ways a little bit too far in the year 2020?
I'd like to chime in here, and I want to take it back to my most recent position. This position was the most interesting job I've had yet to date. Reason being is because of this topic specifically. I worked in a predominant male workplace, and I was the only female. What was really interesting about that experience is I not only worked alongside males, but I also worked for essentially a boys' club. It was a country club, just designed for car collectors, and most car collectors are males. Of course, there's women who take part in this hobby too, but in this instance, at this club, it was mostly males. So, naturally, I think my masculine leading energy led like never before.
Absolutely.
And the most, I would say, interesting part about this whole ordeal was the fact that my direct colleagues were feminine leading energy by nature, and how that correlates with their astrological signs. So for instance, my direct boss, he was a man with feminine energy, being that he's a Cancer. And then my counterpart was also a man with feminine energy, being that he was an Aries.
Interesting.
That must have been so weird.
Now,
right.
wait, girls, now get this. Wait for this part. Not only were they, the males, holding the feminine energy, I was the only female, also the only one holding the masculine energy, being that I'm a Sagittarius.
Very interesting.
That's interesting.
Okay.
But you do have to take
Wow.
into part that, there's rising signs, so there can be a mixture of masculine and feminine energies as well.
Absolutely. But let's touch on the fact that each astrological sign correlates with a different element within this earth, right? I'm a Sagittarius, so my earth element is fire, and fire correlates with a masculine energy. For example, my direct boss, being that he was a Cancer, his earth element, honestly, I can't tell you off the top of my head. I'd have to look at that a little further and then get back to you guys. But from my research findings, a Cancer's astrological sign leads with a feminine energy. So I do believe, like you said, Ivana, I do truly think that you can have a masculine energy. You can also have a feminine energy. It's a sliding scale, in my opinion.
Right.
You can be a little bit of both.
Right.
Maybe in one instance you're a little bit more masculine, and then another instance you're a little bit more feminine.
And even then, like throughout the days, it's bound and it's going to change. One day you can be super masculine,
Right.
And then the next day you can be extremely emotional, because I know Cancers are emotional.
Exactly so.
Sometimes you have no choice but to be masculine.
Right,
You
yeah.
have to do what you have to do.
Right.
And when it presents itself, you just listen, man up. You know what I mean?
You know, Ivana, that makes me think of you, being a woman who works within the STEM industry. What's your perspective about masculine versus feminine energy in your workplace?
I honestly think, being that I do work in the hospital in the medical field, you naturally think of like women nurses, right? But nowadays, I see female surgeons, female doctors, because we're so used to
Bosses.
all of them being, yeah, like bosses and being males. But now there's bosses and surgeons, and they're holding their own. So I feel like a lot has shifted from, the past to the present.
Right.
And I just think it should continue to be like that. As a woman in the medical field, say if you want to be a surgeon, you need to hold your own, because men will walk all over you. So I feel like we have no choice but to have that masculine energy, because that's a way to gain respect. Because technically, that it's a man's world, they say it. But now we make more money than some men, So a lot of
What's
things
up?
have changed.
What's up?
All right? Because your girl is trying to, make that paper.
Right.
Okay.
Sure.
Right. But then in some instances, you ask yourself, is that taking it too far? And in some instances, are men catching offense to this, especially in a workplace like yours, Barbara? Did you ever have to be like, ooh, let me switch this up a little bit. Let me work with my femininity real quick, because I'm in an office full of men, and they can be a little sensitive at times.
Yes, if you call the shots, men are going to feel some type of way. But sometimes we think quicker, and we move quicker. So a lot of males they get a little discouraged.
I've got to be real. I've heard that I'm someone who is considered intimidating by certain individuals. And shockingly, I've heard that come from males.
Oh,
Yeah.
see?
Right?
Yeah.
I recently met somebody at my real estate school. And he said, you intimidated me when I first met you. I said, well, why? And he said, because you have a certain way of presenting yourself. And from afar, without actually knowing you and just listening to you speak from across the room, that was intimidating for me. Right. But then once I actually got down with you on a level ground and I got to know you and I saw the way your energy moved in conversation, I knew that you're more than just that confident front that you put forward.
Right.
And oftentimes people like to associate a certain level of confidence with sternness, which also equates to masculinity.
Right.
Right? I don't know. Jonah, what do you think? I mean, what's it like for you in the workplace, girl?
So, I actually have a really interesting story, but before I get into that, I was doing research in regards to this, and the Pew Research Center actually says that millennial women, similar to Generation X, are really going to be making more money. So, exactly what you said, Ivana, earlier. We are getting bachelors, we're getting PhDs. We are, and with
That's
all of
right,
that
girl.
knowledge comes money and comes more independency. Right? Now, because of that, because we have surgeons, because we have medical reps and medical device companies, we are doing jobs that are in a more man or male dominated world, right? A good example for this is going to be the company that I was actually and still am interviewing with. Huge big dog medical device company, and I noticed that these women that were in this role were killing it, and the way that I saw it, it was because they brought their poise. They brought that nurturing side to them. And yes, like, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to make this bag and I might make you uncomfortable, but it is so very, very important for me to keep my role. I need to continue to be a lady, because no matter what,
Absolutely.
that feminine side to me is going to attract the bag, but even more so the relationship, in a way that a lot of these male are, no wonder they're intimidated. Like, she has it all. She
It's like
can
an
do
extra
it all.
power.
Yes.
We got like a whole
you
extra
got that
power.
charm. When you got that charm, you can rule the world.
Yes.
Right.
Like, you're a boss, but you're charming while you're doing it.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I always go and say, it's always about the approach.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I think that, yes, it's important to be masculine, it's important to be tough, but we do have to bring that feminine side, that touch. Okay, that makes me a lady, and it's going to leave that, help me out, Barbara, that thought in that person's mind longer.
Right.
I'm going to get that sale even more. It's going to be long term rather than short term.
Absolutely. Right. Because at the end of the day, like we all hear so often, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Correct.
The approach is everything.
And with that feminine touch, what can't we say?
Right.
We can say something real crazy.
Smile and then tell them what to do.
And a little bit of, she does a little eye flicker, all that. That little eye flicker that Jonalise does. Like, but she is cursing you out in some other language. But with her eyes and with her poise, she uses that feminine energy to really
absolutely
kill them with
because
kindness.
let's say I'm in a room and I'm trying to close the sale and I have my male partner, which he's my boss, and I actually take the lead now in going into these meetings because he'll say, okay, are we closing the deal? Is this it? And I'm like, no. I always ask, Sky, do you have any questions? Do you have any reservations as into why I could not partner up with you, as into why we cannot make this sale? Once I make you comfortable, I got it.
Right.
Yeah. So I've learned to, yes, I have to be a powerhouse, but with that touch and that feminine side to it, it's beautiful. Right. And this actually makes me wonder. And not a lot of women do struggle with this. I see it in my industry. The masculine role in the workplace, is this something that was taught at home, or is this something that throughout the workplace and having more degrees and having more money, more experience, did we learn to be harsher?
Right.
So, Ivana,
where did we get it from?
Exactly.
I personally got it from my mother. I grew up from a dominant household. She always taught me, listen, you need to make your own money, do what you have to do. You depend on no man, because they can get up and leave in a second. That's how I was raised. So I believe I did. That impacted me a lot. I grew up in that mindset. So it affected me in relationships. Right. Okay, I was in a relationship not too long ago, and we would get into arguments because I called the shots. I'll pay for this. I'll do this. I'm going to book this vacation. We're going to go here. No, we're not going to go that way. We're going to go this way. It's what Ivana said. And I need to learn how to bend a little, because that's not the way it should go. But I do think I got that from my mom and being raised in that aspect. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I feel like, we should bend. I am who I am, and I never ask permission. And sometimes you need to step back and act a little feminine, okay? You can't just be masculine at all times.
Put that little, magic touch to everything.
Right. Just
exactly.
Just a little bit of sugar.
Lucky I'm good looking. Because then they'll be like, bitch, what you said?
That's a whole man.
I know, shit. But I think it does stem from childhood, because I come from a strong household of women. And yeah, I definitely think that. Mm-hmm. What about you, Chris?
I definitely agree in the relationship aspect. I think in my past relationships, I've dated men that I felt like I had to take care of. And it definitely brought a lot of masculinity for me to the relationship, especially when we got in arguments. I was quick to get that macho, masculine energy real raw real quick, instead of handling it in a feminine way. Nowadays I call my girl Jonah, I'm like, hey, how can I handle this in the most feminine way and not so masculine
and not curse his ass out?
Curse his ass out.
No.
Right. So I definitely had to work on that, because it's what I've been used to, as well as now being a single mom. That's brought so much masculine energy to me in the home. It's just me and my girls being a single mom home with them. Sometimes I want to
have to be mama bear. You have to
fight for Papa Bear.
You have to play both roles.
She has to do
both roles for sure.
But not only are you mama bear, but you have to lay down the law.
Exactly. And that's when that masculine, manly energy has to come out of me to be like, hold on, I gotta be hard when I have to be hard, but I have to be soft when I have to be soft, Right. Mm-hmm. Bring it all together. So I'm a little worried in the future maybe my children will adopt some of those masculine energies that I portray daily for them, But,
and this is kind of a side note, our heart goes out to you, because the fact that you do both and you do it so at a place of love, they're only going to learn to be strong women. That's how I see it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Right.
Shout out to those single mamas out there.
Right.
Shout out to you guys.
And not only that, but I'd like to add that even if your children do adopt some of these characteristics that you hold yourself, that's not necessarily a bad thing, right?
Right.
Because
No.
let's think specifically outside this circle here, who we know that are also women, who are also masculine within themselves. They're bosses.
Right.
And more importantly, they're the type of women that can take care of themselves no matter what.
Right.
And I know these girls sitting here in this circle are the type of women that are good no matter what takes place. If they were thrown out on the streets, they'd figure it out.
Amen.
Yes.
If their house burned down and they were left with nothing, they would utilize the resources around them to get up back on top.
Absolutely.
Right? And I feel like that takes a specific masculine-like energy, right?
Definitely.
To go, that takes grit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we can at least lean in on that specifically, the oomph that type of person it takes. So if your girls adopt some of those characteristics, you know, girl, you raise some wolves and got it, no matter what.
Some, like, warriors.
Exactly.
That's right.
I like to call them myself a warrior princess.
That's
so
right.
if you girls want to call yourselves warrior princesses, you're more than welcome.
Oh, I say that all the time at
warrior.
work. I'm like, yeah, I'm a princess. I'm a
That's
boss
right.
princess.
That's right.
Yes.
I think overall, that's a beautiful way to look at it. Balances everything, you know, look at the positivity of it. But I think overall in life, going through different experiences, different things, overall, the world starts to harden you. It starts to strip your femininity away slowly. And it's our jobs, I think, to really try to stay soft.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. That's a great point. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel that that's where a lot of us struggle with relationships overall, and that's when you can really realize, oh, let me go ahead and take a couple steps back, because he don't want to be with a whole man. He wants to be with a woman.
With a princess.
With a princess.
To make his
Right.
queen.
Right. And
Right.
granted,
Yeah.
I mean, we're also in this age where a lot of women kind of look at it like, all I need is me. All I could do is count on me. I don't need nobody else. I don't need no man.
That was my problem.
I hear a lot of that, you know, in our generation. But at the end of the day, we all deserve someone. We all deserve to experience love. And in those situations where when you get into a relationship, you have to sometimes unlearn a couple things.
Right.
And that could be a challenge. It really could be a challenge. But at the same time, it's like, if you
Absolutely.
want that relationship enough, you will cut back on some of that masculine energy and let that man lead, if he's the one to lead.
That's
'Cause
right.
Not
true.
everyone can lead up in this, you know.
But he has to be willing to lead as
Right.
well. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Definitely.
Willing to lead, able to lead, because look at us, for example. I mean, all of us lead our own lives in such beautiful ways. So if you're coming into my life, oh baby, it's because you're gonna lead me the right way. Okay.
That's right.
And best believe I want to, and I would love and appreciate to find a man that could do so, but only if he could do so, because ain't nobody settling around here.
Right.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely not.
We have
Not out
built
here.
such beautiful lives for ourselves. Better recognize.
That's right.
That we did for ourselves and we did by ourselves.
Right.
So somebody has to be lucky enough
Yeah, someone
in order to
gotta.
hold it down and for us to allow it.
Right.
But sometimes we need to learn to bend a little bit. Let
Right.
him lead the way. You want to go this way, then we need to learn to say, yes, babe, you got this.
You got this,
I'll be
right.
behind
Yeah,
you.
we don't
you
have
know,
to be
you
so
got this.
hard. We don't have to be so masculine. Let him take
Right.
the lead.
And Chrissy
Exactly.
said something so beautiful. You know, your life experiences sometimes really does harden you. This is aside from the men in your life, from daddy issues, episode 3. But go throw that out there.
Spoiler alert.
But it is so important to remain soft, and I think that's something I've learned so much over the years. I've really worked on healing, as we all have, because we've helped each other heal.
Correct.
And sometimes it's the ugly truths that you gotta dig up so you could remain open to all the blessings and the love that are rightfully yours. Don't ever feel that because you've been through this and that, you're not worthy of love and a beautiful relationship and playing a role as a woman and letting a man play his role as a man.
Yes.
We all deserve that
Yep,
partnership.
absolutely.
Yes.
That's right.
I've been getting into that. We deserve this. We deserve that. I've been like affirmations.
Yeah.
I deserve this. I deserve that. Because I think for so long you experience things around you. Like for instance, my mother's a single woman. There was a long time that in my mind I always thought of a family as just a mom and her 2 daughters.
Wow.
I never really in my mind
Wow.
saw a husband until I'm almost 30 years old. We don't have to cut that part. We don't have to cut. No.
You're good.
Don't tell us.
I'm gonna be here
Don't
telling
tell
all my secrets. But
Shit.
you know, I really did I had to learn a lot of things.
Yeah.
I really did. And although it was a true blessing to see my mom just be this super woman, she was a super woman. There was nothing that she couldn't do. I mean, similar to Christy here, but
For real.
it's like you have to unlearn a lot, because at the same time, do I want that? Do I want to do things alone? Do I want?
No.
Am I
sometimes you-
deserving of that?
Right.
Because trust me, it's a lot easier when you go. Look at us.
Absolutely.
Look at how we've gone through life together as friends. It's made it easier, better, sweeter.
Yeah.
It is gonna be sweeter with the right man next to your side
Absolutely.
or woman. You know, we're not judging.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
that's important.
It's a great point.
Yeah.
You know, real quick, because this just came to mind. I mean, think about us as women. We're living alone. You're holding a lot of roles.
Oh yeah.
You're cleaning, you're cooking, you're doing laundry, you're going to work all day, you're paying the bills, you're acting as your own accountant, right? You're the provider of your own home, and we've adopted those roles very early on. We maneuver our way through life as if we are the woman and the man of the household. A lot of women out there do the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And like you said, we see this more and more today because of what we've achieved in civilization as women. We're able to do these things.
Right.
But there's a line. There's a line we don't want to cross. And I think somewhere down the line in generations,
We crossed that
we
line.
crossed it.
We done.
We
We
crossed
done
it.
crossed this, stepped on this, all of it.
Right,
we
we went-
really have.
we went over.
Yeah, we definitely need to like take a step back.
Right.
You know?
For sure.
And I think out of all of us, ladies, I just came to this realization. I've been the single one forever. I feel I've been single for a little bit over 4 years. You know,
Good
I
for
know
you.
everyone has been, you know, ups and
amazing.
downs.
Here and there,
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
but you know, everyone has had their man or their boyfriend and their significant others. But for the most part, I've been solo, and yes, it's been great. You know, there's definitely great things about it. But I really started looking within. I'm getting older, and my mom has been with my dad since she was 16 years old. That is all.
amazing.
Yeah, I mean that's all that she knows.
Goals.
You know,
I love that.
High school sweetheart.
for real, for real. And
Imagine.
No thanks. No
We
thanks.
can't even-
If I was
Right.
still, I'm just saying, if I was still my high school sweetheart, I don't know how I'd be right now. I
a
wouldn't be who I am.
completely different woman.
I would,
right.
it would be so different.
Yeah.
Right.
Listen, can we
I
all
bet,
think
I bet
back?
you'd be feminine as fuck.
Can we all think about everything that's transpired from age 16 to today?
Oh, I don't even know
Oh,
that
I
girl.
could not imagine being with the same person throughout
I
the
can't.
years.
I can't imagine me. I
gotta
don't even
be
know who that
real.
person is. I don't even know who
Right.
that girl is. I've changed so much from that girl. I mean,
'Cause you
I'm
a
a
whole
grown
woman
woman
right
now,
now,
right?
right.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine any of those experiences redoing.
And again,
them.
it really is all about perception, you know, because like Ivana said at first, like, wow, like, you have that pure, like, love, I'm going to be with you no matter
Right.
what, ride or die.
Right.
That is a real ride or
no
die.
questions asked.
No questions
we riding,
asked.
we dying. Okay, let's go.
And recently,
Do it.
Get it, I got
Now have
questions nowadays. I got
Now have
questions nowadays.
Okay.
recently she's been, you know, not anymore. She's not doing it anymore. And I feel it's because she's happy that I'm happy out here getting this bag, this education, these travels. But for a little bit, she was asking me, you know, where are my grandkids? Where's your husband? Like, you're getting there, you know? And at first I did get intimidated. I did, you know, put my walls up. But what that allowed me to do, it was really to readjust my attitude and look within. What am I doing wrong? You know, because I have been solo for so long. I do live alone. I do have a career. And I am in a male-dominated world, I feel, at all times. So I do have to play back and forth. But I do feel that I really saw what I needed to fix and what I needed to adjust when it came to really digging and doing that healing and saying, okay, I don't always talk properly. I don't always talk nice. You know, I shouldn't have said that. I needed to say, you know, I didn't exactly check myself and check him or whoever it was at the time, but be polite and be sweet and be a lady about it. Because the thing about us is what we forget, that you want the man to lead. We're tired. I'm tired of doing this by myself, you know?
That's true.
And I want to be able to follow. I want to let someone lead. I want him to show me, hey, show me how to follow you.
And that just means, in a way, you have to surrender yourself to that person.
Exactly.
And that's a scary word.
Being vulnerable.
But the way that you have to look at it, the man is the head. Right? He's the leader. He's seeing the vision. And he's like, okay, Jonah, I want to take you there. And I want to do this with you. But we have to remember, we have to remember as women, we're the neck.
Absolutely.
And we can turn that
We
head
hold them up.
any which way.
Without that neck, you got a low ass head.
Right. And how do we get there? We get there with positive affirmations, with, hey, you were wrong, but I'm not going to diss you in public. I'm not going to diss you in front of your friends, Papi. But we're going to talk about it when we get home.
That's right.
Exactly.
You know what?
Now,
Go ahead, Ivana, my bad girl.
Now, being that we're on this topic, do you ever think back? Have you ever been in a situation where you surrendered yourself too much? Where a male has walked all over you, where you became too feminine,
Definitely.
which caused you to be the one.
Yes.
I have, I'll kind of say my experience with that.
Because I have.
Yeah, I'll say my experience real quick. I became a shadow for so long. I mean, this fiery Latina, boss, like this was it was a completely different person.
You were so different.
I was so quiet.
I saw you before, during, and after.
Yes.
So
I saw you during and after. And
And I had like, you know, little dresses like down to my ankles. I was 19 and I looked crazy. You know, and it's because I let him lead too much. I lost myself.
You gave him all the
you
power.
wear dresses down to your ankles all the time.
I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean. Like, you know, right now the sexiness,
Good job looking ass.
the sexiness wasn't
Damn,
there.
let me see them ankles, girl.
I have cute ankles.
She really standing out tonight if she's showing those ankles.
No, but that's how I you know, I lost myself and I surrendered way too much, but it's also because I didn't love myself. I didn't know myself.
Self-love. So
and thank you for growth. You know?
Thank you for growth. You know, it's really interesting that Sky brought forward the word surrender and then took a step back and said, well, wait, hold up. Surrender. That's an intense word. It is. There's a lot of meaning to that. But let's go back to our roots real quick. God. Right? We surrendered to God.
Absolutely.
God's ultimate goal for his children is to join in union and to marry and to reproduce. So if we've been able to surrender to God, we can then surrender a part of ourselves to our partner.
I think a lot of people get scared with surrendering because they have to be vulnerable. And people don't like vulnerability because then they're scared of rejection. And it's just a ripple effect. But definitely 100%, you have to be vulnerable with your partner.
And I'm actually glad that you're talking about God, because if you're going to surrender to someone that's walking away from God and not with your same vision, what you doing?
You better preach.
We say
you
it all
better
the time.
preach.
We say it all the time.
Seriously, so okay, guys,
preach.
if go on Google on your free time, and there is something that is called the relationship triangle, really when it comes to God. And God is at the top of the triangle. He or she is going to be at the bottom. Well, she is going to be at the bottom, and you are going to be at the bottom as well. If you guys are walking towards God, but if that person is not in the same vision, doesn't have the same goals, the same mentality, it's you guys are in two different levels.
And we say it all the time. that we don't want to be part of it unless God's part of it. And that's in
Right.
every situation, relationship, workplace, whatever, wherever we're doing. We always say, if God's not in the middle of it, I don't want to do it.
You know what's really interesting?
What?
Is that it's that I've surrendered truly within my current relationship, and this is something new for me. And I want to tie God into this aspect because prior to meeting my current partner, I also developed a relationship with God for the first time since I was a young child, which is my recollection of that moment being a moment of surrendering. I truly surrendered to God, and thus I received my greatest gift, which is my love, the love of my life and who I'm with today. And in turn, I've been able to surrender myself to my partner too. But what's even more interesting is comparing my two adult relationships. I know we've all dated people throughout our maturehood, but I've had two adult relationships. And my last relationship was with a partner who led with a feminine energy, and I brought the masculine energy to the table. And it worked in harmony with one another for the most part, because it was a true balance between the feminine versus the masculine. Versus now in my current relationship, my current partner also leads with a masculine energy, very much like myself. So in the ways that I used to approach my last relationship, I cannot approach.
You can't do the same.
Girl, I can't approach my current partner in the same ways.
No, you're gonna look crazy.
But not only that, but if I came at him with this toughness, this sternness, that oomph in my voice, he retracts.
Right, he's gonna be turned off.
He's gonna be
He's
turned
like,
off.
I know.
Right, right. And I've experienced that from time to time. And we've also spoke about that.
Absolutely.
And he's highlighted, hey, this is how I need to be spoke to. This is how I best react to, right? Which goes back to what Chrissy said, those moments of vulnerability and transparency. But we can't surrender to that level of vulnerability unless, in my mind, we've surrendered to ourselves. More specifically for me, in my personal experience, in comparing my previous relationship to my current one, and how those all intertwine.
So I know that for me, I think the reason why we're even on this subject and really digging deep into what this means, masculinity versus femininity. That's the word, guys. That's the word.
I can't pronounce that word for nothing, so you know what? It is what it is. Feminine energy, okay?
Feminine energy. Okay, so masculine versus feminine energy. The reason why we're digging deep is because I guess because I am so unemotional when it comes to anyone, because I have been single for so long, and I've really been digging and really watching my girls, and you girls kind of coming and asking me, hey, what should I do, what should I do, what should I do? I've taken a step back and seen it for what it is, and in the sense where, okay, I'm smart enough to have a good job, I'm smart enough to be good with my friends, my family, there's so many good things about me and smart, but when it comes to relationships, I'm not thinking with my head.
Right.
So let me look at it from a different perspective. So because of that, I feel that I really have become, in a sense, like the advisor for you guys. You know, I know Barbara, for example, you told me about a story that your significant other took you on a date. It was a beautiful romantic date. It was a good evening, and there was 2 glasses of water. Both of the waters were done. And him at that moment, he went ahead and refilled his cup, but didn't refill your cup. And you got extremely offended. And you told me what was your reaction to that. Do you kind of want to role play it real quick?
Yeah, of course. So my partner poured himself a glass of water and then didn't pour my glass. And
Rude.
no, it wasn't rude. Because
sometimes we are oblivious, and it's okay.
Exactly.
No one's
This
perfect.
is true. This
Exactly.
is true.
And also,
But like, pour my damn water though. Okay, go ahead.
we also have to bear in mind that everybody's understanding of table manners is different.
Right.
Right?
That's
That's
true.
table manners. But not everybody's keen on understanding that. right? And that's something that I learned to understand after the fact when we discussed how I approached that moment. So let's take it back for a moment. And what I said was, what about mine?
Where's your etiquette?
I said,
That's true.
Where's your etiquette? I also furthered by saying, you know, when you sit at a table with people and you go to pour your glass, you should pour everybody else's glasses too. Mm-hmm. It's table etiquette.
Right.
Depends on how big that table is, though, because sometimes you can reach there.
Right.
Imagine like going over like 3 people. Wait, let me pour.
Right. But here's the thing: the whole purpose of this was that it wasn't what I said; it was how I said it.
Right.
I came at him with some sternness, right, as if he was feeling attacked.
Correct.
When I could have simply just retracted for a moment, let the heat simmer out, and say, baby, if you don't mind, will you please pour my glass of water for me?
So going back to when you told me that story, I'm a very good active listener where I just let her vent and told, you know, she came at me with the fire that she came at him that night. And I was like, Barbara, I was like, honey, no, like you handled that.
Pero no.
Yeah, I was like, pero no, you handled that so wrong, you know? And it was just like a quick little tip, you know, next time this is how you should handle it. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to ruin a beautiful evening.
Right.
And that could easily have done that, you know?
I gotta be real, it did put a damper on her.
Of course, duh.
Because
hello,
my man,
I'm taking you out.
Right.
Wine and dining you.
Right.
You look nice, I look nice, you're gonna make me feel like this?
Absolutely. And my man went out of his way to take us to an exceptional restaurant.
Right.
With him knowing my passion for cuisine. And he leaned in on that and brought me to a special space and wanted us to enjoy that time together. And I threw a wrench in the situation.
And it's okay, you'll learn from it for next time.
Exactly.
Yes,
and we spoke about it after the fact.
And he will always fill up your glass from now on, girlfriend.
He's gonna fill up everybody's glass.
So
Wait. He's gonna lean over.
It's so funny you said that because we went out to eat recently and he poured himself a glass of water and he said, baby, can I refill your water? And I said, yes, please.
That's right.
And that's for next time. Now you know how to move forward in a situation like that, where instead of you attacking him,
how would you handle it?
Oh,
yeah. Honey, tell us.
Yeah.
So
give us your feminine touch, my love, like you always do.
My feminine touch. I would have smiled, and I usually get mad and I kind of bite my tongue and I just look with like my piercing eyes, like, are you kidding me? And I do that first just with my look. I really do that with my look, and then they kind of look at me like, oh my god, like, are you crazy? Like, what happened? You know, like, are you okay? And then you just kind of reach over, whether you want to grab his knee, his hand,
or
his shoulder,
thigh, or
his face. Oh, you know, all the time. Like, you know, papi. My cup is also empty, and I would really like some water because I'm very thirsty. Do you think that
I would have been like, I'm parched.
Do you think that you can do that for me? Is that okay? Girl, you can have whatever you want. And being like that, having that feminine touch in that moment. One, you come off so gracious, so you have so much class. You are going to get that water and more. You know, so this is how we should.
And ice.
Yes, whatever you want. Whatever you want.
Let me get a twist of lemon.
Carbonated water.
Imagine.
Carbonated water.
So I think it's important. And hey, it's a beautiful thing that we are so independent and so masculine and able. We're really grabbing life and running with it, and that's a beautiful thing. But always remember to be a lady, to sit like a lady, to act like a lady, because that's what makes us us.
And own
that's
it.
Beautiful. Yes.
Own it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's okay to be soft and feminine. It's okay.
It's beautiful.
This is true.
While also standing tall.
Correct.
Exuding a specific level of confidence that allows you to be remembered in all moments.
And remember that you are going to get what you want, but better. Why wouldn't you want that?
What do you always tell me? How do I handle things?
So, what do you mean?
How should I handle things? Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I get this from my mom. I love her. She always tells me, you know, the way that you treat every situation, especially with a man, you know, your partner, you give 1 spoon of sugar, and 1 spoon of salt. And you're gonna leave them right
Get
there.
more with sugar.
I always did 2 salts, a half a spoon of sugar.
Right.
But now I'm learning. Let me give you a lot of sugar because I do
You
love
get more with sugar. You get more.
And you
with
know,
sugar.
something else that I've been kind of really like trying to work on is, in order for me to feel that feminine energy and be in tune with myself, because it starts from within.
Yeah.
You know, for you really to
Absolutely.
be in tune with that energy that no man has. It's a power that we possess, okay? It is a true power. Now, if I'm feeling like for the day, I like to put on a cute little dress. I like to put on some heels. I like to make sure my nails and my hair is done. That gets me into that feminine state where I'm like, okay, I feel good, you know?
Yeah, when
and
you look
and that
good, feel
comes
good.
with that feminine energy, owning it, feeling it. Not only how you look physically, but on the inside. And sometimes when what you wear, what you look like, that affects how you feel on the inside.
yeah.
And that's even just staying home, just being home. We're not going anywhere. We're getting cute just to wash the dishes.
Right.
When
And
your man
it's
comes home, you're
fun.
looking cute washing the dishes. You know.
Right.
Exactly.
Bend
That's
over,
important,
grab a
you know?
plate. But when you put that plate in that dishwasher, make sure you poking that booty. You know?
And make sure he sees
It's all
those
about that
nipples.
arc in the back. Arch that shit.
Right.
Wait, but hold up, because I know we all do this with the fresh paint job. Wait, hold on, honey. Oh, you see that over there? Look at, ooh.
Yes.
It's looking nice. Wait, let me point at that real quick.
Yes.
Oh, can I get that for you out of the fridge? Wait, ooh. Also, catch up people these nails.
Right.
Right.
Right, papi. It's all it's for me, really. But it's gonna help us.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And you gonna want me. And in turn I'm gonna want you, and it's gonna have a nice flow to it, because I've always heard men are very visual creatures.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Very visual. So yeah, it's okay once in a while to have your hair up, no makeup on, you chilling, but take pride in, like, we could wear a dress. We could put on a little bronzer, a little blush, and we can make sure our hair and nail is done, and
Absolutely.
that's it. And we feel like a brand new woman, and they feel that.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
So
And
I
then they
think a
become
lot of
more
this,
attracted to you.
right? And I just feel a lot of this, what it comes down to is finding that balance.
Definitely. And that's so important to have in a relationship, is that balance, because sometimes, like I've said in my past relationships where I've had to take the masculine role, take care of things, provide and love, all that thing, I didn't have time to do my makeup and hair. I would just, t-shirt, hair up real quick, very like not feeling feminine. I wasn't able to get in that zone, for myself. Now it's a priority, because that leads the way for my whole entire day.
There you
I
go.
feel that way,
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Right.
There we go.
You look good, you feel good.
I was just gonna say that, Soul
Right.
Sister. You were right in my
You-
mind.
That's right. You look good, you feel good. You do your
Absolutely.
hair, you wake up, put some mascara on. It will change your day.
That's
And
And
right.
on top of that, it'll attract people. And if you're in a relationship, it will still keep it spicy.
That's
Never
right.
let yourself go.
Yes.
Never lose that feminine energy.
And above
If
all,
you
you
want to
feel
wear a
good.
short skirt to let your man look, I'm just saying. Do what you gotta
That's
do.
right.
And wait a minute. Let's just not forget about the power of the hoops.
Ooh.
Oh, I thought you were about to say something else. Absolutely.
I just
Put on
was
a
like,
pair of
wow.
hoops.
Hoops. Listen.
Yeah.
If you're not feeling so nice, and you know what, you don't feel like wearing a special outfit, put on some hoops.
That's it.
If you're wearing a casual outfit and you need to spice it up a little bit,
Put on some hoops.
That's it. A little
Hey,
chapstick too.
Right.
You don't
If
want to
you're
have hoops
going
and
to the
chapstick.
Don't forget the lip gloss. Don't forget the lip gloss.
If you're
Right.
going to the beach and you want a little zing, put on,
on
some
some
hoops. The hoops will do the job, ladies. I'm telling you.
Accessorize, babies.
Listen, the hoops are the way to go no matter where you feel or where you want to go. Oh,
When in doubt, wear the hoops.
Hey, they ain't ready, babe. They ain't
God
ready.
with the bars.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
When in
Well,
doubt.
what do you want?
I said when in doubt, wear the hoops.
That's
Yes.
right.
Hoops.
That's good. You should like trademark that or something. When in doubt, wear the hoops.
when
That's
it's
a
out
good
with
idea.
hoops. I know, you're right. You're right.
Write that. Take note of that. So we definitely love you guys. We appreciate you. And remember to always just put love first in everything that you do. Relationship, work, family, friendships. It's the only way. And for our women, stay feminine. Have that feminine energy.
Find that balance.
Yes.
But be independent. Always
That's
do it for your
right.
own. There's nothing wrong with being independent as well.
That's right. Sprinkle that little feminine energy everywhere and anywhere. Remember that it really is our superpower in this world, and we have to cherish it. You know, we really want to express our gratitude again. It means the world that you guys have been tuning into this podcast, and just as much as it is ours, it's definitely yours.
Yes.
Love and light, babies, and till next time.
Peace
Till
out.
next time.
Bye.